All right, today we're diving into something pretty profound. 4 key ideas from Korean Zen Buddhism. And trust me, these aren't just some dusty old concepts. They're actually a practical framework for understanding your own mind, a journey that's fascinated people for centuries. So let me ask you something. What if the deepest truths weren't hidden away in some ancient book or complicated ritual, but were actually right here, inside you, just waiting to be found? That one question, that's really the heart of everything we're about to explore today. So, Section 1, the School of Seon. This is our starting point. Our foundation really begins with this single, powerful character. It's pronounced Seon, and understanding what it represents is our first key. So, what is Seon exactly? You might know it by its Japanese name, Zen, but it's way more than just a word. It's a school of Buddhism that basically flips the script. Instead of focusing on texts and rituals, it puts all the emphasis on meditation and getting a direct, personal look at the way things really are. Now, this is a pretty radical idea compared to a lot of traditions. Seon says that truth isn't something you learn from a book. It's something you have to experience. The whole point isn't just to study enlightenment, but to achieve it yourself. And sometimes it can happen in a single sudden flash of insight. Okay, so if the goal is direct experience, how do you even get there? What's the actual method? Well, that brings us to Section 2, pointing directly to mind. This is the truly unique Seon technique. The entire method is captured right here, in these 4 characters. This idea is so central, you could really call it the engine of the entire Scotian school. This is Jikji Insim, and it translates to pointing directly to the human mind. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. How radical is that idea? It's saying the ultimate answers aren't in some far-off scripture or a lecture. The whole practice is just to turn your attention inward and look directly at your own mind. No filter, no middleman. This really shows you the fundamental difference in approach. You've got one path that's all about gradual learning from things outside of you. But the Seon path is all about sudden insight from your own internal experience. It's kind of like the difference between just reading a map and actually arriving at the destination yourself. So we have the school, that's Seon, and we have its method, pointing to mind. But what actually happens when you do that? What do you find? And that is the million-dollar question. If you point directly at your own mind, what do you see? This brings us to Section 3, the realization of no self. The core insight, the destination of that inward journey, is wrapped up in these 2 characters. This is the concept of Mua. Mua translates as no self. Now, that sounds pretty weird, I know, but it doesn't mean you just disappear. It's the profound realization that the fixed, solid me that we think of as our ego, well, it isn't really a permanent thing at all. It's actually a constantly changing process. Here's a great way to think about it. Your identity is a stream, not a statue, right? A statue is solid, fixed, totally unchanging. But a stream is all about motion. It's this dynamic, flowing process that's never the same from one moment to the next. Realizing Muna is like seeing that you're the stream, not the statue. So you see how it builds, the school leads to the method, and the method reveals this incredible insight. But how does all of this fit into the bigger picture? That question about the big picture leads us to our 4th and final key. This is the idea that ties it all together. Section 4, the one great path. This unifying principle is captured in these 3 characters, pronounced Il-sing-bup. Il-sing-bup means the one vehicle path, and it proposes something beautiful, that all the different ways of practice, whether it's studying texts, chanting, or the direct pointing of Seon, they aren't competing with each other. They're just different vehicles, all traveling on the same road, heading to the exact same destination, enlightenment. The perfect way to picture it is that all rivers lead to the same ocean. There might be countless paths, but they all eventually flow into one vast ocean of truth. Satseon is just one of those very powerful rivers. And there you have it, the complete path. We have the school, the method,
the insight, and finally, the unification. It all fits together.
But if there's one idea to really sit with from all of this, one that's at the absolute heart of the practice, it's this. Mu. A. No self. The understanding that you are not some fixed object, but a dynamic, unfolding process. And that realization right there leaves us with this incredible paradox to chew on. A classic Sinyan question. If there is no permanent, fixed self, then who or what is it that understands? Thanks for joining me on this little journey.